John Catsimatidis sought the Republican nomination for mayor in 2013. It didn't end well then, but times have certainly changed, and now he's thinking about running again. So, John, you ready to throw your hat into the ring?
Well, we were certainly thinking about it and discussing it. The biggest problem is New York City, we're at the edge of a disaster. And that's what I'm afraid of. And I love New York, Marcia. And, you know, we've been there. We were there together in 2013. And New York City is the greatest city in the world. And we had 20 great years under Rudy Giuliani and then 12 years of Michael Bloomberg. We had great police commissioners. We had Ray Kelly and we had Bill Bratton. And New York, the greatest city in the world. No hurricanes, no earthquakes, and if we only had safety in our streets.
Well, you know, you say we're at the edge of a disaster. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about losing the people that could afford to move. You
think people are leaving?
I think people are leaving. I think 500,000 people left since COVID, especially in New York City. And it's the people that can afford to move that move.
So if you were to run for mayor, what would you do?
First of all, the number one situation, make the city safe. We used to walk around at night. Our Gristini stores, the Agostino stores were open to midnight. Our restaurants were open till 11 o'clock at night. We used to walk around the east side of New York, the west side of New York, all over New York, and people felt safe.
And they don't feel safe now?
We don't feel safe. No matter what the statistics are, nobody believes them.
I mean, the mayor says that this is the safest city in the United States, that the crime numbers since he took office have come down dramatically. You don't agree with that?
I don't think you believe him either.
I'm not allowed to say one way or the other.
Okay. I think the reality is I would not allow my kids to go into subways. I would not allow my kids to go in buses. I worry about them.
So how would you change it if you were mayor?
I put my foot down. You know what it is? You put your foot down and you say, and you challenge the state Senate. You challenge the state assembly on the stupid law they made on this bail law, and say enough is enough.
Well,
people want to be.
Did challenge them on the bail law, but the legislature is very liberal, and they didn't want to change it.
Well, sometimes you have to just put your foot down, and there's many ways. Do you think if Mayor Bloomberg was mayor right now, or if Mayor Giuliani was mayor right now, he would accept that? You don't accept it. You do something about it. And you take away the whole police detail from the state assembly.
Okay, so let me ask you this. We're now in a situation in New York City where there's a new poll that's out this week that says that people would like the mayor to resign, and only 7% think he's not guilty. So what should the mayor do? Do you think he should resign? Do you think he should step aside? What's your thought?
I think, look, I always liked Eric Adams. If he did something stupid, then I'd be disappointed a lot. Did he get an upgrade on an airline ticket? Sure. We all get an upgrade.
Is that a bad thing?
That's not a bad thing. And to get an upgrade on a hotel room, that's not a bad thing. If there's something really serious where the law enforcement wants to put him in jail.
So so far you're not convinced that there's anything serious?
I'm an old-fashioned guy. I believe in a person is guilty when he's proven guilty.
So
you know, it's like Hank Greenberg.
Don't think the mayor should
when
resign?
New York Post put in the front page of Hank Greenberg was guilty. Guess what? They ruined a company that was worth $185 billion, AIG. If Hank Greenberg was there, do you think AIG would have went bankrupt?
I don't know. But
I don't think so.
Here's the deal. Do you think that the mayor should resign?
Do I think that the mayor, if it's a point where that he cannot manage the city anymore, probably.
Have we reached that point?
We're getting close.
How much more? I mean, it seems like every day there's another problem.
I think that what the law enforcement is trying to accomplish is get all the people around him, make the people around him sweat to the point where they're going to say, yes, he did something wrong.
So you're not convinced he did anything wrong? That's what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, let's wait and see. Don't forget, the rule of law in our country the last few years was a little bit, you scratch your head about it.
So do you think that...
Do you think Donald Trump was guilty of going in and raping a woman and what was it, Bergdorf Goodman?
Do you think he's...
I don't think he was.
So, but that's not what he was charged with.
I know, but it's similar to the rule of law, what's going on in our country.
So do you think Kathy Hochul should step in and remove Mayor Adams from his office?
If she believes that he is at a point where he can't govern the city the right way, then she would do that.
Do you think we're at a point where we can't govern the city?
I think we're very close.
What has to happen that would make you say we're at the tipping point?
That they're ready to actually arrest him and put him away.
So what if you were to run for mayor, what would you bring to New York City?
Oh, I think we need a lot of reforms. Look, I've been in the city for 70 years, over 70 years, and I love our city. It was the greatest place in the world. I want to be able to walk around and feel safe. I'm not against bicycles, but you can't have bicycles going the wrong way on streets. I mean, when you get out of a taxi, you have to look both ways.
What do you do about that? Do you have to send the police and say, instead of fighting crime, we need you to stand on the corner and ticket bicycles that are going through red lights and are going the wrong way?
No, absolutely. Everybody.
So how do you stop it?
I would hire more policemen, too. You do what you have to do. We have a lot of policemen, and you have to give priorities. You don't want to, people, if you take 100 people walking by the streets and you ask them what the most dangerous thing there is, they're not afraid of getting hit by a truck. They're not afraid of getting hit by a car. You know what they're afraid of?
What?
Getting hit with those bicycles or those mopeds. So you want a quality of life, Marcia.
So do you think that you should make people who ride bicycles and scooters have license plates? So then you could take the license plate number down and ticket them.
I think look, they love riding bicycles. That's fine with me, but they've got to be accountable. You can't do the wrong way. I got a friend of mine got hit by a bicycle, a moped. You know why? He was looking the way it was a one-way street going up 3rd Avenue. The guy was coming down the wrong way. What kind of life is that? That's not quality of life.
So would you remove the bicycle lanes? Would you remove the bicycles? Would you limit them to certain places?
I think they have the right to do it, but I wouldn't close down our streets where we create congestion. You know why we create congestion? So you could charge them for congestion pricing.
So
that's wrong.
I take it you're against congestion pricing.
I think it's wrong. I think how many tolls are you going to pay? The people from Staten Island, I want to have to pay a toll for the bridge, a toll for the tunnel, and then a toll to get into Manhattan. I mean, enough is enough. We don't mind paying. We don't mind paying, but we want to feel safe at least.
So who's going to pay to upgrade the MTA is over 100 years old. Who's going to pay to fix the signals and the stations and everything else?
I think the MTA, the city, has to be more accountable on the budget.
You're talking about more taxes.
I'm talking about bringing in people that will make sure it's properly accountable and the numbers are right. I mean, when I ran for mayor in 2013, the budget was $49 billion, $47 billion.
Now it's more than double that.
$110 billion. Now, I'll give you another example.
We're going to have to, we're going to have to leave it right there for now. But we'll be right back with a former transit cop who wants to send Senator Kirsten Gillibrand packing. We're back with a bonus conversation with John Catsimatidis. So we were talking about the budget and how you think that there's enough money in the New York City budget to pay for the things that you'd like to see changed.
Yes, we're spending right now, the New York City budget is $110 billion, which is a lot of money, more than double when I ran for mayor 10 years ago. The migrant situation, we're spending billions and billions of dollars. Look, I believe in helping people. You know, don't forget, I'm chairman of the Police Athletic League.
Right.
I followed Mr. Bob Morgenthau and take care of the kids in the inner city. You know what I believe in, Marcia? I believe that we got to take care of the poor in New York City, the poor American citizens, the poor kids, before we worry about the kids or the people from South America, Central America, Africa. Let's take care of the American people first. And we have in the streets in New York veterans that are homeless. Do you know what the numbers are 10, 15 years ago? We used to have 28,000 mentally ill people in the hospitals. You know how much you have now? I think it's 3,000, 4,000. The rest of them they threw in the streets. I mean, enough is enough. And prisons, you know what? All the police commissioners confirmed this number. You have 8.5 million people in New York City. Right. You have 3,300 repeat criminals that commit 20, 30, 40, 50 arrests. I said, at what point do you throw away the key?
What you're really saying is lock up those 3,300 people. 3,300
people. And make 8.5 million people happy and make 3,300 people miserable because they deserve to be miserable. Or put them into Bellevue, put them into a mental institution. So it's either one or the other, mental institution or prison. Take your choice depending on if they have a sickness.
So what you're saying is that the judges are too liberal and the laws are too liberal, in your opinion?
Those 3,300 people do not deserve our respect to make 8.5 million people in New York City miserable.
So I want to change topics for a minute. I'd like to ask you, what does the American dream mean to you?
Oh, I wrote a book last year. I'll send you a copy if you don't have it. And the American dream is, don't forget, I came over, I'm an immigrant. I believe in immigration. That's another big thing. I believe in immigration because I'm an immigrant. I came over 6 months old. At 6 years old, I went down to the State Department, and I remember I put up my hand that I pledge allegiance to America that we know of. And I was also, along with Bill Fugazi and Lee Iacocca, vice chairman of Ellis Island Foundation. Yes, immigration. But we have to know who's coming and going. You know what Venezuela did, Marcia? They took 13,000 of their killers out of prison, sent them out to us in New York. I mean, enough is enough. Why do we need what Ellis Island did and have checks and balances? And
so
we want the people in America.
You want changes to the border policy.
We want changes to the border policy. Immigration, yes, but killers, drug dealers, there's no checks and balances right now, and that's what I'm concerned about.
So, changing topics again, do you have or have you ever had a mentor?
In my book, I had about 12 mentors.
So tell me about one of them.
Well, I'll tell you, the people that created Haagen-Dazs, I was the first person to take in Haagen-Dazs in my stores.
And that person was a mentor to you?
Yes. Rose Mattis and her husband. And they made $1 zillion opening up a place in the basement of their building in the South Bronx. So
you were inspired by that?
I was inspired. I took advice from a lot of people like that because I was in the food business.
So what was the best piece of advice you ever got?
Work hard, be honest, keep your nose clean, and people will trust you. When people trust you, they will work with you.
What's your favorite season, summer or winter?
Oh my God, I love the spring. Springtime in New York. I'm not going to sing for you right now.
Why not?
And the fall. And the winter has a certain. You know what I tell people? My daughter and my son grew up in New York, and I had a 300-acre front yard. You know what it was?
What?
Central Park.
I knew that.
okay? And Central Park is the greatest city in the world, and people have to be able to walk around Central Park and feel safe.
So how do you feel about climate change?
Climate change, I believe that we all have to be careful. And I'm an investor in the new technology that's coming, these SMRs, small modular reactors, which is the same nuclear reactors in the submarines. They're converting them to be land use. And I believe that over the next 20, 30 years, it could go from oil to nuclear reactors on the most part.
Do you think that New Yorkers will accept nuclear reactors?
I think so. They've been safe in our nuclear submarines for 60 years, and why not?
So what was your best subject in school?
Oh, mathematics. I think I got a high 700 in mathematics SAT, and English, not my best subject.
So what do you think about self-driving trucks? Or
I don't believe in them right now. I believe them because I believe that if there's a mistake, somebody's going to die. And Tesla came out with robo taxis.
He's going to be announcing it next week or the week after, right?
I understand that. Would you go 70 miles an hour with no control of the car? I won't do it.
Well, you know, I actually drive a Tesla, so I can do self-driving if I want to.
I know, but you're in control. You could press the button and take control again.
I can.
But in the Tesla taxi, I'm not sure.
So you're not getting in if there's no driver?
I'm not getting in.
So speaking about transit, when was the last time you took the subway?
Oh, I take it once in a while, because if it's going to take an hour and a half to get downtown, I'll take the subway.
I get it. So what's your favorite place in the whole world?
Oh, springtime in New York.
Okay. So if you had a sandwich named after you, what would be on the sandwich?
Oh, egg salad.
Egg salad? Okay.
I love the way the egg salad is made in certain stores.
So it would be the John Catsimatidis egg salad sandwich.
I would love that.
Okie doke. And on that note, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Marcia.
And thank you at home for joining me as well.